Hey guys, so we're going to recreate this design and I'm going to show you and share tips all along because I saw this on one of our groups and I wanted to share with you guys. So a couple of things I started with circles and my best advice is highlight both, go to your edit, align and center. So that way you are 100% centered correctly. Second thing I noticed once you do that is weld it. The reason for this is yes, you can attach it, but then everything will cut separately. And if you want to slice uncle through it, which I'm going to teach you here, you need to make sure it's welded and it's a one cohesive image. Uncle is going to be centered around this place here. And in the design, there was some stars, so I'm going to add them. I'm going to do it as close as possible. Forgive me for the fonts because I'm not going to go look for each font directly, but I want to show you how to best work with your design and also how to be able to center your items correctly. So here I have the stars and I'm going to send the circle to the back so I can move uncle over. Then I'm going to be able to add these stars. If you notice, I have highlighted the circle and the stars and I've welded them. I did not make sure that the stars were aligned, and that's one, because I'm not going to keep this design, but two, just to show you the differences. If you were to center it yourself, it may look okay, but here's my trick. Highlight both of your stars, go to align, which is under edit, and then either center vertically, horizontally, or center all together. That way, they are at a good distance from each other. Again, I'm not going to be a perfectionist on this because I'm not keeping it. It's not my design, and I don't really need it. But this is to help you with a future design. Now, I'm just adding soon to be on the top, and the font, you can stretch it out. You can make it bigger, make it wider, whatever it is that you want by just clicking on your font and then going to edit. In edit, you also have curve, which is what is going to be used for this design. Once you curve it, you still have availability to be able to resize it anywhere you want. Same thing with the bottom. Up 3 is the request here. And so what we're doing here is I'm going to go ahead and make it a little bigger by stretching it out, but you can also go to edit. And if you go to the left, it'll curve upward. If you go to the right, it'll curve downward. So that's the nice part about it. You can do the same tool and it'll do both actions. Now, the reason I keep sending the circle to the back is so that I can get the actual uncle isolated from all of the rest of the design. Since the rest of the design fits in a certain place, uncle, I'm going to move away. I'm going to highlight everything and now weld it. Again, the reason for it is so that it cuts together, but also so that I can manipulate uncle around it. Now, I'm going to do it 2 different ways. So I'm going to highlight both of these, stretch it out a little bit, sorry. Then I'm going to highlight both uncle and the whole design, which is the circle with the stars in the font. And once I do that, I'm going to duplicate it. The reason for this is because I'm going to teach you 2 different ways of doing it. And it's really up to you. Now, if you notice, there's lines that go through uncle around the L, between the L and the E and the U. If we leave it as is, what's going to happen is when it cuts, if you do attach, it's going to cut through them. So what we want to do instead is duplicate your uncle and then do a slice through uncle in the circle. We delete the first one because, as you saw, there's lines that have been cut through it. But now if you highlight both and unite them or weld them, it becomes one image. So therefore, you will not have lines cutting through the L and lines cutting through the U. Additionally, if you're going to do uncle maybe a different color, which I'm going to show you in a second, if you were to do it in a different color, you would see the lines under or over it. And so that would not be a good look. And that's why I would say slice through your circle and be able to create that distinction. The other way that you can get isolated, uncle isolated, is by going to layers and getting uncle. This is where I was saying about the top one, why I don't like, you're not attaching them, because that's what's going to happen there. And this is just a visual. So the other way of doing it is actually creating a little, very small offset so that your uncle can actually be isolated from the lines. I've learned that this actually elevates your design and I really like it. So this is another option for you. I'm going to move uncle out of the way, the blue one, which is what we're going to keep. The gray one is the offset that you can get on actions. Excuse me, under edit, you have the option for offset. Do it a small offset. And look, now once you slice through the circle, you actually are left with a nice little gap. And then you center it and you're able to now have a design where the lines are not touching uncle, the word. So it's a nice little design. Now I'm going to go ahead and make it 5 inches so that I can show you in the design to make it, because honestly it was just too big. And I'm going to delete the original, which is what I was using to follow along with. And I'm going to get straight to where it says make it in the top right hand corner. I'm not saving it again. It's not my design. I really don't need it. But look at the difference here. This is the one that we united, where everything will be together. And this is the one that we went ahead and sliced a little bit through. So it's really up to you. There's just different ways to make this design.